I'm the reason we are late tonight. 10 minutes. I tried real hard, but when people play chicken with a train, the train always wins. Okay, and that's not a casino you want to go to. The train always wins. I'm joined by Michael Geary, Army veteran and founder of Helfish Haven, executive director. I'm Travis, Marine Corps veteran and host of Oscar Mike Radio. Together, we are WAR. We are resilient. And Mike has some guests for us tonight. I'm going to let him introduce them. And thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I got a couple of some hockey experts that I brought in. They will be lovingly referred to known as the Bruins baddies. When you got that bad bitch that's in your corner, the baddie. That's these two right here.
Let's go easy with that expert word, okay? Like big fans, experts,
Bruins are all
massive,
right?
fanboys. I would say if the sweat touched you, you probably wouldn't wash that area for maybe a week or so.
I'd say at least a month, but yeah, I mean you're on the right track. Depends on who it is.
True. There's some sweat you don't want.
Now wait a minute. The Bruins are playing now? I think right.
About 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
No, they're in the first period right now.
What?
Yeah.
All right, it's nice talking to you guys.
They weren't supposed to start till 7:30. What are you talking about? Holy crap, they are playing. All right. It's supposed to be a 7:30 start. Apparently not.
Is there a way that we can throw like another screen on the corner and have the game going live?
We can't stream the NHL will.
No, yeah,
we'll get squashed.
Can't broadcast that live. Retransmit, rebroadcast before the game.
What do you guys have the thing where we're watching it, but not showing it, right?
Well, we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if everybody's got like a little side TV and we get distracted, we got to call each other's names a few times. We understand why.
Yes.
Today is an important day as well. Today is Denim Day.
Yeah. So let's start this from. We might go to 7:30, Mikey, because I mean, we helped the Bruins win last week. So how did you all meet?
So
Kevin,
Mikey and I
in Baghdad together.
Yeah. So Mike and I deployed together. He was my Alpha team leader, and Ryan and I grew up together, but he was also in the same unit, just in a different time frame. So Ryan preceded Mike and I.
Okay. So before you were first, then Mike.
No, Ryan was.
Ryan was first. Okay.
Yeah, he did the first deployment with the 972, and then Mike and I came along later on, and he said, "I'll see you guys later." It was very nice of him. That was actually the best part about me joining. He brought me to the armory. I met, the supply sergeant. We had a couple beers and we're talking, and all of a sudden the recruiter walks in conveniently. Yeah. And I'm like, "Oh, who's this guy?" And he starts talking to me about it. And like, "Oh man, this sounds great. These guys are all cool. Let's do this."
And I to drink beers.
Yeah. So I signed up, and then about, 10, 12 months into my enlistment, you're like, by the way, I'm getting out. Yeah. I'm like, oh, excellent.
Yeah, peace.
And then as we were getting ready to deploy, Mikey transferred into my unit, and just actually happened to just land in my squad. And that's how him and I met.
They put all the ugly people together.
I was going to say gingers, but that works.
So what's
it like?
Like?
I look good.
What's it like after all this time of, being out?
There's a lot of things that you miss. Hanging with the boys, seeing them all the time, and girls, for those of you out there. But you don't miss some of the BS that they put you through. You know what I mean? Like just some of the training that's just ends up being garbage. There's plenty of stuff that's great about it. There's plenty of training that's awesome, but every once in a while you get those days that just you're like, I don't want to be here. So I don't miss that part, but the good stuff. I mean, the deployment, all things considered, we everybody in our unit came home. Everything, everybody's happy, healthy, etc. but like you missed being all together and running those missions together, successful missions day in and day out. I miss that stuff. I miss seeing the guys all the time. But other than that, I'm good. Now I get to golf all the time, and I do what I want to do.
Yeah, you meet some lifelong friends though. I still talk to a lot of the guys on a weekly basis, check in with each other, do events together. We do fundraisers together. It's pretty awesome. So you definitely meet some people that you talk to on a regular basis and become really good friends with, and it was worth it.
Yeah, like if it wasn't for my experience in the Army with Mike, I don't know if I would have ever talked to him again after the first time I met him, to be honest.
That's a ringing endorsement there.
Yeah, I mean, just put it out there.
So, I mean, it is Bruins playoff hockey. I know the game's on right now, and we appreciate you guys doing that, because I can tell you my son is a huge Bruins fan, and it has to be like, World War III going up before he will pay attention to me. So what's your call for the Bruins during the playoff series right now? Are you liking what you're seeing? Are you nervous at all? I mean, what do you see?
So when we first got paired up with Florida, I knew it was going to be a tough series. Florida's a great team. They're grinders. They'll beat you up if they can. So I was nervous about it. Obviously, they showed what they could do in Game 2. But the Bruins have bounced back quite nicely. Game 3, Game 4 on the road, they looked dominant. I mean, they looked like Florida didn't belong on the same ice as them. And I'm kind of hoping that they do it again tonight, because I don't want to see this series go back to Florida, because anything can happen at that point. Now you've got a game at home. Maybe they take it. Now you're 3-3 coming back to Boston. Florida already proved that they can win a game in Boston, so it makes you nervous. You want them to end it tonight.
Yeah, but the fact that we won in Florida without Bergeron and Krejci is huge. So it shows us that the team can play without, our two of
the veterans, two of the biggest leaders.
Our veterans that are a big factor on this team.
Love captain.
Well, that's the thing I was going to ask you. And with Bergeron being out, it seemed to, change the attitude of the team a little bit, and they had to kind of find their way, back to, winning without him. And so it doesn't seem to have affected them that much going forward. What do you think?
If anything, it kind of pushed him.
Yeah.
They realized, some of these other leaders in the locker room realized they had to step up. They had to fill his shoes. They also didn't want to let him down. This might be his last year. It's very likely that it's his last year. They don't want him dropping out in the first round after a record-breaking season. So, I mean, they're out there grinding, doing what they have to do. And they, like I said, after that Game 2 that was awful, they bounced back and showed who they can really be. And Bergeron's in tonight, so that's huge too. So hopefully that's a big motivating factor for tonight's game.
If you go back and watch Game 3 and Game 4, you can tell that Marchand actually stepped up. You could tell that he was leading that team while Bergeron was out. And, in some of the interviews after the games, they were in contact with Bergeron, and they knew that they had to step up and kind of fill in for him while he was out. And I think they did a good job doing it.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, it's like they had that loss, and I'm like, if you're going to take a loss then before the series gets that much more deep, and then they assert their authority. So I got Jim from New Jersey. He does a lot of stuff with veterans. Want to see what you guys thought about the Rangers Devils and the Islanders series.
So the Rangers Devils series is a seriously interesting series, because to this point, it's been all road teams winning, which is incredible. I knew that was going to be a tough series. I thought that would go minimum 6 games. A lot of talent. Rangers really stocked up at the trade deadline, getting guys like Kane and Tarasenko. Like, New Jersey got Meyer. Just good, solid teams. It's a fun series to watch. I've been keeping an eye on it. And as far as the Islanders go, I as much as I like the Islanders, it's one of my teams that I root for other than the Bruins. If like the Bruins are out of it and the Islanders are in it, that's what I'm going for. But I just don't see them getting past Carolina. They at least gave them, they brought it to a minimum 6 games. It's going to be a tough series. But Carolina's a tough out. That's a team I don't want the Bruins to come up against. It's like the next round with possibly Toronto or Tampa Bay. It's looking pretty solid, like it's going to be Toronto.
Yeah.
That's a talented team. They picked up guys at the trade deadline. They're just the Devils, the Rangers, the Islanders. They're all just so stacked with talent. But if I had to put my money on anything, I got the Rangers taking that series, and I got to go with the Hurricanes against the Islanders.
Yeah, the
It's
Hurricanes
just
are definitely going to win.
they've lost some big guys, but they're still playing solid. It's just tough to go against them. They took the Bruins out last year. That's another thing. Yeah, they're grinders. They know what to do, especially at home.
And
we were lucky enough to go out and watch the Bruins play in New York back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday night, Rangers and Islanders.
Awesome.
Great games. Fortunately for us, we get to go out there and watch the Bruins kick both of their asses 2 nights in a row. And good fans. It was fun. It was great. But going into playoffs is totally different hockey. So you don't know what team you're going to get.
Yeah, and everybody steps up. But anybody out there listening, if you want to go on a road game, if you're not from New York, go to the Islanders. What a great arena. What a great venue. Like the people, the fans, I thought it was a great environment. Yeah. That was my favorite of the 2 nights. We went to Madison Square Garden to watch the Bruins play the Rangers, and I'd still prefer to see them play the Islanders again. It was just so much more fun, I think.
Well, it's funny you mentioned
I also got to see him play Tampa Bay this year, too.
It's funny you mentioned that because everybody remembers last year when everybody was kneeling, the Islanders fans all got together and sang the national anthem. I mean, it was a bone-chilling moment in sports, seeing the support they had for, what they believed in. It was great. It was a great moment in hockey.
Well, it was the same thing as, we played a game right after the Marathon bombings 10 years ago, and they actually played a clip, at the last game or the game before that when the entire state, the entire garden started singing the national anthem. You couldn't even listen to Renee sing it because the whole garden took over. So the Islanders did something like that last year. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hockey fans in general, honestly, good quality fans, typically, great people. I'm not trying to disparage any other sport or fan, base, but there was actually a game that the U.S. national anthem went out up in Canada, and the Canadian hockey fans continued the U.S. national anthem. And honestly, I've been to enough games versus Canadian teams. I could probably, and I'm not going to do it now, so don't you ask me, Mikey, but I could probably sing along with a group, the Canadian national anthem. Plus, my wife's from Toronto, so that helps.
I was going to say, you got some Canadian in there.
How do you
CanadianWives.com for all you out there watching.
How do you deal with that, though, man? Because Toronto fans are nuts.
No, Canadians are nuts.
well, yeah, true. I mean, no doubt.
My in-laws are more Toronto fans. She's been here for so long. She's fully converted. I, brought her to the church. I baptized her. She's now all Boston. She's Patriots, Celtics, whoever. Loves going to the Red Sox. Loves going to the Bruins. So she's not one of them anymore.
Nice. Yeah. And that's the thing. Andrew checking in from Tennessee is a big Bruins fan. He grew up from around here. And it's just something that, in the Marine Corps, it's the lone guy in the Red Wings jersey or the Hawks jersey or the Dallas Stars are really getting going. I was in, hockey is a different sport when it comes to the fraternity of fans than it is, say, basketball or baseball, right? It's just a different thing altogether.
Well, you'll look at somebody else wearing an NHL, shirt, hat, whatever, and maybe sitting there at the airport in the terminal board. You look at them and, hey, you watched last night's game. You can have conversations with people, good fans that typically people that like one team in hockey will watch multiple, especially right now, playoffs. I'm watching every game that's on TV. If I get nothing else going on and there's a hockey game on, I'm watching it.
Oh, yeah. The Islanders fans, when we went out there, were really nice people. Rangers fans, I can't say the same thing for. But the Islanders fans were actually really great people.
So just to give you guys some perspective, we got your 6 at 6 is a crew out of Minnesota. Mike Peterson and Andrea Noble Eichmann do veteran stuff out there. They're checking in, saying hello tonight. So good stuff. The Wild are in the playoffs, right?
They are.
I believe they won last night.
Actually. Yeah. Against their nemesis, the Stars. So that's a good.
That's always fun to see. The team that moved out of there and went to Texas of all places to play hockey. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an interesting little series right there.
Well, interesting story because I joined the Marine Corps out of Shreveport, Louisiana. We moved down there, when I was a teenager. When people down in Texas and Louisiana figured out that there was fighting in hockey, it went gangbusters.
Ooh.
And I had women fans who loved Mike Modano. I mean, they could not get enough of Mike Modano, man. They thought he was
With that flow.
Yeah. They just couldn't get enough. It was
To that
crazy.
90s flow that he had
Yeah.
going.
It was, but I couldn't believe the lineage of that team that went to Texas of all places. And all they had to do was do after the first fight, it was in. They were great. They were
Actually,
great.
speaking of that, I met Ed Belfour. Actually, we both met Ed Belfour recently.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Eagle?
Oh yeah, Eddie
Yeah,
the Eagle.
he
He's a wicked
started
nice
making
guy.
his own bourbon and whiskey, and we got his signed bottles of bourbon and whiskey on our shelves now.
So I was a big Blackhawks fan before I got up here. My boys converted me, and I remember growing up watching Ed Belfour just make some crazy saves. We got your 6 at 6 is saying, yeah, the real Minnesota hockey team, the old Minnesota North Stars, right? So Mike is on tonight. So is hockey something that you all just pursue together, or is it something that you've just been a lifelong passion? Because, and Mike, are you wearing the Hollow Bruins hat tonight?
Nope. I'm rocking
Well,
a different one because last time I wore it, they lost, so can't wear it again for the rest of the playoffs.
Mike, we're not off to a good start tonight.
Yeah,
it's 1-0 Florida right now.
Oh yeah,
I might be going and locking myself in the closet by the end of the night.
I might make you burn all your Bruins gear. We'll see how this goes. But for me,
I'll be able to post on
Ryan's
Facebook,
the same way. We're terrible skaters, so as much as we enjoy the sport, we were never going to go anywhere with it.
No.
But with that being said, I also, as young as I can remember, grew up watching the Bruins. Through the 80s, obviously 90s, stuff like that. So
yeah, watching that, trying to follow the puck on a staticky TV. I think my first Bruins game was at my uncle's, and I had to actually walk to the TV and change the channel for him. And you couldn't see the puck on TV like you can today. You just had to, if they scored, they scored. You'd see the guys cheering. But yeah, if you put me on ice, I'm like a deer on ice. If you've ever seen a deer try to walk on ice, that's me on skates.
So I ate crazy nights with a bunch of deer on ice, but they weren't walking.
See, so Mike Peterson's saying, remember, Minnesota is the state of hockey. That's funny you mentioned that because the Gophers, it's the Minnesota Gophers, right?
I believe so. He's got to confirm for us.
Yeah, he does.
He did. Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, the college games are freaking crazy up there. Those people are like, they love it.
Well, it's actually funny. There's really just two regions when it comes to college hockey. It's the Northeast and then that upper, central area of the country.
Yeah.
Minnesota, Wisconsin, stuff like that, Michigan.
One of the best hockey games I ever watched was BU-BC.
The Beanpot?
Probably 2 years ago, we took my son's whole hockey team to one of those games. And that was one of the best hockey games I ever watched, was watching those two college teams play hockey.
Let's see, Mike says St. Cloud, so good little thing going on here. Awesome. So you're doing this now. Mike's a big Bruins fan. I had my Bruins hat on last week. I left it off. And there's just something about it, right? Now, there's always the age-old discussion is, are hockey players tough? And I'm like, I think that's been answered pretty emphatically. Yes. The only other guy I would know who'd be tougher is when Mo Lewis hit Drew Bledsoe and he's punctured his lung and still in there playing. But other than that, hockey players are the toughest.
Well, that's what Patrice Bergeron had a punctured lung come around the middle. The Fuzz just sorted out. We just got raided.
Jesus, it's another 972 guy. What was it last week when that kid got his head slashed open by a skate? He went in the locker room, got 70-something stitches, came back out and played.
Crazy.
Yeah, right?
There we go. See Timmy yet? Another 972
Timmy.
guy.
Not as handsome.
Bullshit.
Definitely the ugliest mug on the screen right now.
No, he's like, I gotta go. I'm in uniform. I'm not supposed to be here. But no, was it 2019? When they lost, they found out, like fans found out after the fact, Patrice Bergeron played with a punctured lung. So hockey players are just a different breed.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
You mean they don't throw themselves on the ground like soccer players?
or basketball players? Come on, let's be realistic here.
You get a call about our kids?
No.
Oh, they're over there playing somewhere.
Sorry, a lot of distractions. Apologize.
No, man. I mean, we're Semper Gumby. We make this work. It's you got the hockey game on. You know, everybody's trying to watch that. Everything going on. So there's some. Do you guys know anything about Operation Hat Trick by any chance?
Yeah, I'd say. I shouldn't say as in I know like a lot about it, but I own some of the articles of clothing they put out. They put out hats, shirts, stuff like that. I got an awesome, pullover hoodie. So. I'm not sure we can address that last comment, but
hockey players don't drink.
How neutral he's trying to play.
Oh my God, Mike's eyes are freaking on it. And I got Andrew Farr saying, they raised.
So for all the out of staters, just in case, these are Sam Summers. You can't even see it. There we go. That's all we drink out here.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh, so good.
Or Miller Lights.
Or Miller Lights. Yeah, I'll take Miller Lights.
The cop doesn't want one.
Come on. Weak sauce.
Andrew's saying they raised $5,500 for the Department of Tennessee VFW Foundation, and
That's awesome.
he was a defenseman since he was sick. I know that. I mean, I got pictures of him playing hockey. It was crazy, and he played up here, and I forget where in Mass, but he played at a private school hockey team. There's no Bud Light here tonight, Mike. Just calm down. This is cool. This is what always happens, guys. Is there's people across the U.S. tuning in to watch us. So really good now. Let's see here. Where are we?
Kev, the golf tournament you guys do each year for whatchamacallit? Our lineage for battalion.
First Corps Cadets tournament.
Yeah.
Yep. You want to touch base on that real quick?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's so that benefits the family readiness group for any unit that deploys that's affiliated with the First Corps Cadets. I don't know the full spectrum of what that covers. It's not like the division or whatever. I'm not sure how that part works. Chris Cunningham would probably be the best to tell you who that benefits. But the family readiness groups that are helping families out that are left behind when we all go overseas. That's where that money goes. And actually, the last 2 years have been a huge turnout.
Yeah, finally.
So he's got to be making some solid money for that foundation.
It's
over
been
the last
great
2 years.
since Chris took it over. Before that, I don't remember who was running it before that, but they weren't great at advertising it.
It was an older generation, less social media aware generation of older colonels. Some generals, retired generals were involved, and I don't think they really knew how to reach the guys that were in the units at the time when they were trying to put them together. So we were only getting 50, 60 guys. Now we're getting over 100, which is awesome. Wow. So I would assume we're touching close to like what Andrew was talking about. We've got to be somewhere in the $4,000 or $5,000 a year range, which is awesome. Hopefully that helps families out. Like I said, Chris would know better about that than I would. Because honestly, we play and we win, and that's what we do.
There was another one.
We do we sponsor a hole for that tournament each year.
Yeah, I saw you sign last year.
Dave Ulrich, who I think he was a staff sergeant. I think he was one of my squad leaders when I was in. Reached out to me recently though. They're doing a golf program too for people. You have to qualify to golf for free, but they send guys overseas to play in Ireland. They do golf trips all over the country and all over the world and stuff. You gotta meet certain requirements to get in. PTSD, and other physical disabilities that help qualify you. But I can get more information on that and have Kevin send it over to Mike.
There's so many different groups around now, especially when it comes to golf. Honestly, if you just Google the various veterans associations,
I'm looking this one up.
He's looking it up. All right. Yeah, there's different associations. The Atkinson Country Club, that's by us in Atkinson, New Hampshire, has a group that you can associate with, and they'll set you up with lessons, set you up with range time, let you get out on the course for nothing. I've never personally taken advantage of it, but there's a lot of guys that do, and it's a great program. I think is it the SMGA?
Yeah.
No, SMGA.
Yeah.
So if you Google SMGA,
they will actually give you clubs and everything too.
What's that?
They'll actually give you clubs if you need them.
Yes.
Set you up, train you how to play if you've never played.
So many weeks of lessons, so many rounds. They'll set up tournaments for our veterans. And like I said, that's not just in New Hampshire. That's nationwide. That's a national group.
That's on helfishhaven.org resources.
Fairways for Freedom.
Looks like Salute Military Golf Association.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it's on my resources.
All right, I'm going to get that up and put
We did a blog about them back last year. smganewengland.org.
Yeah, so there's different divisions. There's also I'm watching the game on my phone, so it's going to take me a second to tell you what the other one is. Oh, PGA Hope is another one for veterans. It's called PGA Hope. It's right on the PGA's website. So that's another one if you're interested in getting involved in golf. You don't even have to be a golfer. If you just want to get into it, they're going to help out veterans. Same thing, help you out with equipment, help you out with a little bit of range time.
Got the link to that there. And gentlemen, we're probably, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, it's just playoff hockey. There's about 6 minutes left in the period. We're probably going to, abbreviate this so we can enjoy the game too. But it's kind of cool. We get in here tonight to talk about hockey. Oh, yeah, thanks, Mike. I'm going to put that link in the chat as well. And, we got people, from Tennessee, Minnesota checking in, talking about what a great sport is. And there's a lot of crossover between hockey and golf, believe it or not. I've had a lot of hockey players saying that golf made them better shots. As
they say, it's a rotational swing. It's the same movement technically.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pro hockey players that in the off season, especially if they're from Toronto, maybe this season might be the exception.
Yeah.
They get to play real early. So they get their rounds in April. So they become real good golfers. Austin Matthews, probably a great golfer. I'm just a guess.
Yeah. Had his first fight this year. Good
for
him.
That was awesome, right? He didn't throw a punch, but he got punched.
He didn't throw any punches, but he took some punches.
Don't forget, Peter Madison showed us how it's done.
We got 6 at 6 checking people on the tee box. That's the kind of golf that I would like to play. You got to be aware. Situational awareness on the tee box is, the kind of game I'd like to get started. So let's get that rolling. Well, full contact golf.
The American Legion
lining up
post.
a putt, but you got to watch out for somebody coming in over the top.
Don't get
the Legion post that I was in charge of in Foxborough. The baseball team would run a golf tournament over in Mansfield, and at the eighth hole, we would have shot girls out there with test tubes doing shots for the guys that came through the hole, and they would sit there. They were like, "Oh, girls," and it'd be like these creepy old guys being like, "Hey, how are you, honey?" And it's like, do we have to do this, Mike? And I'm like, just give them just hand them the test tube. You don't have to
Mikey,
serve it to them.
We're like this far away from being those guys, right? We're not young anymore.
Don't tell me that.
I don't believe that.
The Billy over there talking old time hockey. Eddie Shore. Old time hockey.
Let's see here. What is the score?
And then if you see, you got Kevin and me in the background here of the picture.
Yeah, that handsome dude to your left. Mikey's on the inside. That's us on patrol in Baghdad. Mike,
So-
And then
so
you'll
the best
see
part
there's
about this
4
story is
ladies.
that's my gunner that took that photo. My gunner, instead of doing Overwatch, is just like, oh, I'm going to take a picture of these guys walking down the street in Baghdad. Like, all right, excellent.
What's even funnier is they were actually holding hands right before this picture, but saw the camera.
Who are you to judge?
When you see the 3 women that are walking, towards us, there's actually 4. One's like in front of another one, completely blocked out.
But she's the one
they saw
carrying the
us
case
and
of Bud Lights.
refused to make eye contact.
Yeah, I was
Like,
going to ask.
nope.
I mean, you got
They're like gingers. Their skin is far too pale.
They knew how dangerous you gingers were.
Were you all nervous about them? Were they nervous about you, or was it just like a standoff where you stay in your lane, we'll stay in ours, and just go about our day?
That's exactly the last one. We just walked past them. The customs are a little different. We were patrolling a neighborhood around the prime minister's house, so we just tried to keep to ourselves and not offend anybody, because he would have gotten upset if somebody from his neighborhood complained about the U.S. troops in his neighborhood. So we just tried to keep to ourselves.
Wow.
And did you ever see the video of the ram from over there?
I did.
So there was, a bunch of the animals were let go from the zoo following the invasion. And so there was these animals just free roaming through Baghdad. And occasionally a ram would come up through the Iraqi police checkpoint, and the Iraqi police thought it was a great idea to take a wooden stick and whack the ram. And so someone in our unit has the video of the ram literally bucking back and headbutting the Iraqi police.
But the ram did it to the moron that came out of the prime minister's house hammered. So obviously they're not supposed to drink. They make their own hooch. They do whatever they do. This guy was off duty. Remember when they did it to the security guy?
Mm-hmm.
Security guy comes out hammered, whacked out off a homemade whiskey or whatever the hell he was drinking. He tried to offer it to us. I wasn't trusting that. And he taunted the ram.
Weird
And the ram
water.
took him. There's a video of him going ass over tea kettle because the ram took him out.
Mike says you ain't living life till you hug your colonel in the field. I've never hugged a colonel in my entire life, Mike. So let me know how that goes.
See you, Timmy.
Tell you what,
We had a colonel that was at an MP ball. He was like the head of I think the MP school, the head of the MPs. And he was drinking with us, getting, liquored up with us, drinking with a bunch of, specialists and, E5s. And this guy was taking pictures with holding the Coors Light, doing the, Captain Morgan stance in bedrooms at the hotel.
Oh, we used to have to trade with the Uzbekis for Russian vodka, and Russian vodka is so disgusting.
Thank you, Billy.
That you had to mix it with Gatorade or orange juice or something, and it would be like 80% orange juice, 20% vodka. It was the most disgusting alcohol I've ever had in my life. But in desperate times, desperate measures.
What do you get a call?
You get a call for a gun.
Just heard loud sirens outside my house. So what the hell just happened? Timmy had to go.
They had a gun call, and I'm like, hey, when can you go golfing? He's like, I gotta go.
well, tell you what, after the playoffs are over, we'll have to have you guys back on, and not that we're not having a good time right now, but have a more in-depth time.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Mike Peterson out there is thinking to himself right now, how do I get these guys from Massachusetts out to Minnesota for full contact golf? That's what you're thinking about right now,
Right.
Mikey. I know
I
it.
think he likes us.
We'll put it on football helmets. I'm not saying shoulder pads. I don't want shoulder pads, but helmets. I think just
Look at Billy. OPSEC is out the window, buddy. It's been 20 years.
Actually, statute limits.
I was backing him up off of Mikey's story.
Mhm.
He played well. Yeah, of course you played pro football in Russia. I don't. Mike's a solid guy. Absolutely.
What kind of football? Like soccer football or football football?
Well, we
Why would ice fish?
Guys, he absolutely freaking goes bananas over ice fishing. I've never seen anything like it. It's like someone in Maine.
Nothing like freezing your balls off while you're trying to catch food, huh?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you, Billy. That's what I was saying. They don't talk about what happens there. That's why when you started the story, don't say names.
There was no names, no years.
I don't remember any MP balls.
Oh, except for the time we slept in the Marriott.
They don't have any. Oh,
No, that was a good MP ball. We went down to wherever the hell it was, had a few, went to another party, and then we spent the night at the Marriott in the parking lot in the back of his SUV because we were too hammered to make it all the way home.
At least you were drinking, but not driving. So
we stopped. We were smart. We're like, this is too much. We got to stop.
We drank before we drove. We drank after we drove.
And eventually we were like, yeah, we got to call this quits.
all right. So we want to have you guys back up when the playoffs aren't there. I think the period's winding down. But American Veteran Ball, May 13th, May National Harbor. Where is that, Mike? Where is May National Harbor? I don't know. I've never heard that before.
I'm going to go with in the middle of nowhere.
Minnesota, right?
Minnesota.
Well, Lake Superior is probably right by him, so that makes sense.
How about we all just meet in Chicago? I'm okay with that. Is that close enough?
Chicago would be a good time.
Chicago is awesome.
Maryland.
Oh, that's actually not bad. Okay.
That's an 8-hour drive.
Maryland's not a bad drive at all.
All right.
We want to stay. We all want to stay as far away from DC as we can.
Camden's
For obvious reasons.
a nice ballpark.
Yeah, the Sox were there today and they lost.
Dude, yeah, I was like, why'd the Orioles get good all of a sudden?
They didn't, but when you're in Baltimore, you always got to be looking out for gunshots.
100% truth. 100% truth.
There's a pub across the street from Camden Yards called Edgar's, and they do not have a sign that says $1 drafts any night on game night because we acquired it back in 2006 after spending 3 nights at the games. And we were just, we're taking it off. The coat hanger's unraveling as we're grabbing this giant sign in full Red Sox, jerseys, hats. And just folding it up. People are honking their horn as they're driving by on their Route 1 type of area. Nobody cared, no did anything. Just walked away.
So that was 2006?
Yep.
So I had to follow an alpha team leader that was a wanted misdemeanorist in Baghdad? I don't think I care for that.
It could have been. But it could have been my, my heckle and jive,
Well, I see the Panthers are up 1-0. It's the end of the first.
Yep.
We'll have you guys back on either on a non-playoff hockey night. But this has been a blast. And
thanks for having us.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. And just for grins, Mike created the W.A.R page today. So if you're let me see if I can pop that in the chat real quick. If you want to give that a like, then I'll keep you up to date with everything. It'd be really cool, Mike Peterson, if we could get the Mass and Minnesota guys together. I think that'd be badass. It's just because they do a whole lot, man. They do a whole lot. W.A.R. Let's see here. I don't see the page you created, Mike. We'll get that up there.
There's no periods. It's just war. We are resilient.
Okay. We are. Oh, there we go. Let me see if this works. Pop that in the chat. Bang. Just go there like that. We'll have all these in there. We want to have you guys back on. It's been a blast, a lot of fun. And Mike Pearson, I'll be in touch with you about maybe Helfish Haven. These guys are doing the awesome golf stuff. and us doing something together. Absolutely.
Be awesome.
All right, go Bruins.
Go Bees. Let's get back. Let's get the goal back in this next period.
Let's do it.
You guys be good. Be safe.
All right, we're out.
Thank
See you soon.